Well, that was a good time to mark. I'm gonna do that. Alright, that was a
All of
thing.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's be slightly rebellious, but not.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
See, there's a thing here. Where could this go?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
You sucker fool.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay, new stuff. I thought this was gonna path into some old stuff. Oh.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. Same plan, but, again.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
What if I go through the doors that I know? Wait, this door wasn't open before. Oh no.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
You sucker fool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That one wanted input before, didn't it?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Who did this? Who did this?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Maniacal laugh.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No! I was making progress.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
This is new direction. This is the problem, is like, do I follow the line now that I've reached this point? Or do I diverge and find out what's going on? Look at this Sugafu playing solitaire, probably losing. I don't think I've ever won a game of solitaire, by the way. The game is hard.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Not the only one that sees this, right? Which one do I choose? Oh my gosh. That is giga creepy. What's going on?
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I have studied it closely. I will not be able to discern this fern from any other fern. I took off all the edges and stuff like that. I'm glad the music is over. The music was very loud.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I'm just following the line, dog.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after
Pirate.
everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
You sucker-foo.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
This is a very big office building.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Oh, wow. That actually came to an end. Or did I just turn around?
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
This really is a horror game, isn't it?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Right door is always right. Let's see. Deviate from maintenance room. End up in monitor room. Narrator restarts the game. First restart. Discover the second or the two doors. Room now has many additional doors. Aimless wandering. Narrator restarts the game. Second restart. The office is now a dead end. Turn around, find another dead end, end up in another building. Narrator restarts the game. Third restart. Adventure line, nonsense philosophy and music. Return to the office. Return to the monitor room. Fourth restart. Adventure into unexplored territory. Find the line again. I guess that's now when Stanley attempts to play the story but is prevented, unable to go anywhere or do anything. Game restarts on it. Oh no, okay. Confusing ending. Find the confusion ending schedule. Narrator restarts the game. Narrator forgets about previous restarts. Stanley attempts to play the story but is prevented, unable to go anywhere or do anything. Game restarts on its own. Sixth restart. Find the line again. Begin following the line. Find the identical replica of the office that has begun to deteriorate. Attempt to make up a story here. Narrator restarts the game. Seventh restart. There is no longer an office, simply black space. Wander in the blackness. Find a bookstore. Get bored and leave. Narrator restarts the game. Eighth restart. The narrator is gone. After a long time, Stanley dies. Alright, I'm gonna we're gonna do this. I'm going to screenshot that. Pull up that screenshot. Zoom in. Do that. Okay, see? Screenshot. Okay. We now have an outline. We are ready. I'm ready.
Oh, hold up. What's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
That was very loud. Why are you breaking the game so hard? I didn't do nothing. I'm just walking places. Alrighty. I attempt to play the game, but I am prevented.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And another one. I'm not looking hard enough for these. That totally means something.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That totally means something. I probably missed like 3 because I haven't been looking as hard.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
This was what I was trying to accomplish originally.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I never got to go downstairs. Let's go downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin. the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Still can't see my feet, though.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. That wasn't the sixth restart? No, that wasn't the fifth restart? We were not prevented from playing the game, but we did die, apparently.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Okay, things getting weird again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
That's funny.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Something that's a lovely purse. Extreme bathrooms. Bath guy testifies something the trial of the century. Tired of getting something on your porcelain? Faucets, pipes, offshoots. Okay. Okay. And then an Ime magazine right there. Very popular magazine. That Ime. Oh, this was not openable before. Business strategy. All right. Doors monthly. Shapes. Is the cone the new triangle? How I kicked my ugly pentagon habit. Illegal cubes. I don't think that's how you spell illegal. Pretty sure that's not how you spell legal. Illegal cubes and how to spot them. Exclusive. Mike James talks about his new box. Oh, should have been Mike Jones. Mike Jones. Let's see. I am the most expensive boss. Graphs. How to make graphs quickly. Can you say things without putting them in graphs? No. How to be a good quarterly percentile. Indoors monthly, apparently. Oh, I can't find my cat. Could BB indoors? What wallpaper should I put in my kitchen? Oh, this one's kind of tough. Why do I have this dream where I'm always falling, then my teeth fall out, and my dog turns into my mother, and she speaks to me, but in a language I can't understand? I've got the power. You know, people disrespect elevator music, but elevator music is elevator music, man. Got some things happening around us. But I do this. Or is this the game? Some like fuzziness. Could throw some drums on this. Harder hitting drums, that is. Guessing this is gonna go on forever. What about if I got close to the fuzzy? Has that fuzziness been there the entire night? No, I would have noticed that before. Somebody's humming. A short history of the relations between Poland and Austria-Hungary. This one's recommendations from the Oversight Committee. I think the narrator is humming along. Anybody else hear that? It's just that room that has that fuzziness.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Picture says Sewage Lilies by Claude Money. This one is Carte Blanche.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 284, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Aw, can't mess with it now. Music elevates you to new heights. Uh-oh, Mr. JRPG's at it again. Watch yourself, people. The pun demon prowls.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Well, I never went this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
It was escape after all.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
The narrator has changed.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
And go backwards. Can go to the side. Does this qualify as wander in the blackness and find a bookstore?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development through the core layout, although the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Stanley's computer. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the 2 doors in a good time. The set of 2 open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Filing cabinets. Gasp. Nature paintings. Giga gasp. The office. Ultra gasp. Button sounds. Selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. We got the hip hop beat right here. Oh. It's not working out for me. Office computer. Creditos. And the impeccable Kevin Brighting as narrator. I guess the additional voice work is either Leslie, Aviva, or Jenny. Made using Source by Valve. Alright, but what direction do I go in now? Maintenance room, an early version of the maintenance room. Do I have to give my thoughts of the game right now since this is credits? Boss's office. Screens from development of the boss's office. Employee lounge. We're not going over there yet. Underground, an early version of the underground portion of the game. Yeah. Let's see. Narration outtakes? Oh my gosh. I have to. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake.
I hear something,
The
but
kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most family stood on the snow. Of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you.
Not loud enough. The clips from the early takes that were not used in the final game. I wish they were louder. I like outtakes. They're funny. You ever seen Rush Hour? They put their outtakes in it. It's great. Freedom ending was the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Countdown desk. One of the desks from the early version of the countdown ending. I don't think I did the countdown ending. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Countdown room. Yeah, I don't think I went in there. Escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Zending model. Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the fourth version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. Zending. Screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as Zending. It was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. I don't think I did any of those either. Zending levers. Levers were originally part of the Zending. The player would pull the lever and the narrator would describe what color lever they had pulled. I can't pull the levers. I think my game crashed. My game totally crashed. Maybe it'll come back. This is a tragic place to crash. Oh dear, oh dear. Not looking good. Not looking good. Well, life is hard. Goodbye, Stanley.exe. I mean, I have to play like the entire game all over again. Is there even like auto saving? I think I saw an option for auto saving, or was that saving in general? This I do not know. It says begin the game. I've already began the game. It looks like this is...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This very, very beginning, isn't it?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Well, find out when we get to the broom closet.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright. Well, this is unfortunate.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, so that is confirmed to have been closed on the first time around.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
That's funny. I want to get back to the credits room. I don't think it's going to let me go there, but you know, I'll try.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Goodbye, cool world. Means I have to restart on all those little computer things that I was doing. Oh, man.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
The point of the Stanley Parable HD remix is to lose. Am I going crazy? Alright, is there... in the game again. Extras. Saves. Enabled. Achievements. I mean, those were popping up regardless. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Make fun of them. Not that big of a deal. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these in further promotion materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here's a selection of those emails. How do you type with boxing gloves on? Ben. Alrighty. People email the strangest things. Well, the thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? We'll ask the strangest questions. That's the evil room of death over there. Death and crashing. Game design mock-up. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second in March 2012, and the third in February 2013. Took a year. It took more than a year to turn his office from that to this. That's the joke. Obviously, they didn't spend all that time working on that, but that's the joke. Wait. I didn't read this. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mock-up is still in the game. Did I go over here? I don't think I did. The cargo lift. This second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. This area looks very much like Portal. Cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading up to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. See, I tried. It didn't work. The meeting room. The flow of hallways following the first two doors was important to get right, since players would replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that won out. Confusion ending. The other entrance would be hidden depending on how you entered. vent. All right. All right. I have saved. All right. That area is death. Is death. All right. Well, it does seem like I have I don't want to say accomplished everything that I want to accomplish because I haven't. You know, I still have this that I wanted to get back to. But it does seem like I've done everything that I need to do. So, I'm going to use this opportunity. We'll just give my thoughts right now. Yeah.